In this video, we'll explore the 10 subjects that the Stoics would advise you never to discuss if you want to lead a calm, focused, and wise life. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and let go of distractions or pointless conversations that pull us away from our peace. These topics can lead to unnecessary arguments, misunderstandings, and even drain your energy. Things a Stoic would strive to avoid. Learn how to embrace the Stoic mindset and strengthen your self-control by steering clear of these discussions. From controversial opinions to comparisons with others, discover why these subjects can harm your peace and how to gracefully avoid them in daily conversations. Number 1. Don't talk about challenges. In life, challenges are inevitable, but how we choose to approach them can make all the difference. Don't talk about challenges doesn't mean ignoring the obstacles we face. Instead, it's about shifting focus from the problem itself to solutions and actions that can bring positive change. When we dwell on our challenges, we risk giving them more power. We amplify the stress and struggle they bring and sometimes even make them seem larger than they are. But when we choose not to overly discuss or dwell on them, we start to reclaim our power and direct it toward action. Think about people who have overcome great adversity. It's not that they had fewer challenges than others, but rather that they faced them with a proactive mindset. They didn't waste time or energy by continually discussing how difficult things were. They used that energy to focus on solutions, growth, and progress. This mindset doesn't mean they were oblivious to the struggle. They certainly felt it, but they knew that talking about the problem wouldn't solve it. They stayed committed to taking one step at a time, which ultimately led them to a brighter, more successful path. When we stop talking about challenges and instead look for ways to navigate them, we open ourselves up to growth and resilience. Every challenge brings with it a lesson, and sometimes the biggest lesson is learning to trust ourselves. By focusing on solutions rather than problems, we develop a mindset that says, "I am capable." This belief reinforces itself every time we meet a difficulty head-on rather than lamenting over it. Slowly, we become more adaptable, more resilient, and more confident in our abilities. Of course, this doesn't mean you should never ask for help or share your struggles. There is a balance to be struck. Talking about your challenges with people you trust can be a valuable way to gain perspective and support. But there's a difference between seeking support and endlessly dwelling on the difficulty. When we talk about challenges as if they're insurmountable, we start to believe that narrative. When we focus instead on solutions, on the next small step we can take, we reclaim our narrative and position ourselves as capable problem solvers. Taking on challenges in this way can inspire others too. People are often drawn to those who are solutions-oriented, as it brings a sense of hope and possibility. When you adopt this mindset, you become a person others look up to, not because you've never faced hardship, but because you faced it with courage and resilience. In a world where challenges are guaranteed, imagine the strength and confidence that come from facing each one with a solution-focused perspective. So next time you face a challenge, remember, don't let it dominate your thoughts or conversations. Instead, ask yourself what you can do to overcome it, step by step. In the end, it's not about the challenge itself, but about who we become in the process of facing it. Number 2, don't reveal your secrets. Secrets hold power, both over us and those around us. We live in an age where sharing our lives publicly seems like second nature. Social media and constant connectivity make us feel like nothing should remain hidden. But there is a unique strength in keeping some parts of ourselves undisclosed, a wisdom in not revealing everything. Think of your secrets as pieces of your identity that, when kept safe, maintain a kind of inner resilience. When we reveal too much, we may unknowingly hand others the keys to our vulnerabilities, allowing them to gain leverage over us or judge us in ways that we cannot control. Revealing secrets can often feel liberating in the short term, a way to build connection or earn sympathy. But not everyone has our best interest at heart, and when secrets are disclosed to the wrong people, they can become weapons used against us. Trust is a beautiful thing, yet misplaced trust can be dangerous. Whether it's a past mistake, a private ambition, or a painful memory, when we entrust others with intimate details, we're relying on their discretion and kindness, something we cannot guarantee. Even those who mean well can accidentally let slip our secrets or feel tempted to share them in a moment of weakness. By keeping certain things private, we retain control over who we are and how we're perceived. Consider that some secrets are protective shields. These guarded parts of ourselves can act as boundaries, reminding us that we are not obligated to bear every facet of our lives to others. These boundaries help us maintain our independence, preventing others from becoming too enmeshed in our private thoughts and emotions. We've all heard the phrase, "Mystery is attractive," and indeed there is a certain allure to a person who doesn't reveal everything. It's not about being deceptive or dishonest, but about preserving our own narrative, keeping certain stories just for ourselves. When we resist the urge to share, we cultivate a quiet confidence, a sense of being whole, even without external validation. Another thing to consider is that secrets can inspire growth. Reflecting on them privately often helps us come to terms with who we are or who we wish to become, free from outside opinions or pressure. Secrets can be a mirror that allows us to confront our fears, regrets, and dreams in ways that no one else needs to understand. By keeping certain things hidden, we create a space to process and make peace with our pasts and aspirations. Ultimately, not every part of us is meant for public consumption. Some things should be treasured as personal gems, precious insights that only we can truly understand. Holding back doesn't make us isolated or insincere. Rather, it keeps us grounded. In a world eager for oversharing, there's immense strength in self-restraint. Remember, not all stories are meant to be told, and some of life's most valuable lessons are those we keep closest to our hearts. Number 3, don't talk about your achievements. In a world where self-promotion has become almost second nature, it's easy to fall into the habit of talking about our accomplishments, thinking it will elevate others' perceptions of us. But ironically, constantly speaking about our achievements often has the opposite effect. Instead of coming across as impressive, we may be perceived as boastful or self-centered, and this can alienate us from others. True influence and respect come not from listing accolades, but from listening, connecting, and finding common ground with those around us. When we focus on what we've achieved, we risk creating distance in conversations, turning interactions into performances rather than authentic exchanges. This focus on accomplishments can also prevent us from learning and growing. When we're caught up in discussing what we've already done, we're not open to feedback, new perspectives, or opportunities to develop further. Rather than narrating our achievements, we should shift to showing our character and values through our actions. When we offer genuine support, show interest in others, and contribute meaningfully to conversations, people are more likely to notice our value and respect us. This approach fosters trust and builds connections because people are naturally drawn to those who display humility, empathy, and integrity. For instance, imagine someone who goes out of their way to help a colleague meet a deadline without ever mentioning their own workload or sacrifices. Their actions speak louder than words, leaving a lasting impression without any need to proclaim their hard work. Similarly, those who focus on learning, asking questions, and showing curiosity are often the ones who gain the most respect and influence in a group, even though they aren't showcasing their achievements directly. In professional settings, too, people remember those who make them feel valued and seen, rather than those who simply talk about their own successes. A leader who listens to their team and encourages their input is far more impactful than one who monopolizes the spotlight. By focusing on the team's accomplishments rather than personal accolades, such a leader fosters a collaborative atmosphere that benefits everyone. This principle applies in any context, whether it's a formal meeting, a social gathering, or a simple conversation with friends. Showing a genuine interest in others, celebrating their achievements, and supporting their aspirations creates a positive ripple effect. People are more likely to appreciate and respect someone who prioritizes relationships over self-promotion. Ultimately, refraining from talking about our achievements isn't about downplaying our success or being overly modest. It's about recognizing that our actions, demeanor, and how we treat others define us far more than any list of accomplishments ever could. When we allow our work, dedication, and character to speak for themselves, others are more inclined to notice and appreciate us without feeling pressured or overshadowed. In the end, silence on our own achievements doesn't diminish their value. It amplifies it by letting others discover our strengths naturally. So the next time we're tempted to share our successes, perhaps it's worth pausing to ask if there's a way to let our actions and character do the talking instead. The respect we earn from quiet confidence is often the most genuine and lasting of all. Number 4. Don't talk about your next steps. Many people get excited when they have a new goal or project in mind. They want to share their plans with others, believing that talking about their next steps will keep them motivated and accountable. However, discussing future actions can have the opposite effect. Psychologists have found that when we talk about our goals too openly, we risk feeling a premature sense of accomplishment. Sharing our plans can create a sense of satisfaction that tricks our minds into believing we've already made progress, reducing the drive to actually follow through. When you tell others about your next steps, it can satisfy the brain's need for achievement, leading to a drop in motivation. This phenomenon, called social reality, suggests that talking about a goal can sometimes replace the motivation to act on it. You end up receiving praise or support based on your intentions alone, which can ultimately lead to less effort on the actual work needed. Moreover, when you broadcast your plans, you may unintentionally invite others to weigh in with their opinions, advice, or even doubts. Well-meaning feedback can sometimes plant seeds of doubt, making you question your approach or feel overwhelmed by the expectations you've set. Friends, family, or colleagues may expect regular updates on your progress, adding pressure that can make the journey feel like a burden rather than an accomplishment. Keeping your steps private allows you to experiment, fail, and adjust your methods without external judgment. This freedom often leads to greater creativity and resilience, as you're able to tackle problems at your own pace without the worry of how others may perceive your setbacks. Keeping your plans to yourself also promotes discipline and personal accountability. When the desire to share is curbed, the energy that would have gone into talking is redirected into actual tangible progress. Each step you take without announcing it becomes a form of internal reinforcement, building self-trust and self-confidence. As you make real progress, you develop a stronger belief in your ability to achieve the goal without external validation. This personal accountability can create a powerful cycle of motivation that strengthens with every small victory. By not sharing your goals prematurely, you stay focused on the journey rather than on others' responses. When you eventually achieve your goal, the surprise and satisfaction are often greater, as the accomplishment stands on its own, uncolored by previous expectations or doubts. So, the next time you set a goal or make plans for the future, consider keeping it private. Work quietly, allow yourself the freedom to make adjustments, and let your success speak for itself. Silence can be a powerful tool, channeling your focus and determination inward until you're ready to share not just your intentions, but your actual accomplishments. Number 5. Don't talk about others. In today's world, we're often tempted to talk about other people. We hear something interesting or see someone make a mistake, and our first instinct might be to share it. But talking about others, especially when they're not present, can lead to misunderstandings, hurt feelings, and broken trust. Gossip, whether well-intended or not, can spiral out of control and change the way people perceive one another. Even if we're just sharing an amusing story or venting our frustrations, there's often a fine line between sharing information and spreading rumors. By choosing to talk about others, we risk making judgments that aren't ours to make, or airing personal information that isn't ours to share. What we might see as harmless conversation could be painful or embarrassing for someone else. Instead of talking about others, we can use our words to focus on ideas, shared experiences, or even our own challenges and goals. Discussing our own lives and reflections is a powerful way to build connections and show others that we're invested in meaningful conversations. When we stop discussing others, we open up space for genuine self-reflection, empathy, and positive dialogue. Moreover, it sets a standard of respect. When we respect others' privacy, we encourage the same in return. Our words have power, and we can use them to uplift rather than to judge. We may never know the full story behind someone's actions, choices, or struggles, and making assumptions based on limited knowledge only serves to distort our perception. It's better to give others the benefit of the doubt and keep the focus on our own journey. When we refrain from discussing people's lives, we not only preserve their dignity, but also show maturity, self-control, and integrity. People remember those who speak kindly and are discreet. They build a reputation for trustworthiness, which goes a long way in any relationship, personal or professional. And if we do have concerns about someone, it's usually more respectful and effective to speak directly to them rather than talking about them with others. This approach fosters mutual respect and can even strengthen bonds, as it's based on open communication and understanding. So, next time you feel like discussing someone else's actions or choices, consider instead focusing on the things within your control. Direct your thoughts and words toward growth, ideas, and actions that contribute positively to your relationships and your own personal development. In the end, avoiding unnecessary chatter about others not only protects their privacy, but also enhances our own character, making us someone others can truly trust and respect. Number 6. Don't talk about your good deeds. One of the most subtle yet impactful principles of life is doing good without the need to advertise it. The urge to share our good deeds is natural. It's human to want acknowledgement for kindness or helpful actions. However, there's something especially powerful about performing acts of goodness without seeking praise or recognition. In a world driven by social media and the constant sharing of our lives, there is growing value in the quiet practice of kindness, where the reward lies not in likes or comments, but in knowing we made a difference. When we help others, the intention behind our action should be rooted in genuine compassion, not in the hope of admiration. By keeping our good deeds to ourselves, we allow the focus to remain on the act of kindness itself, rather than on any potential reward. Talking about our good deeds can easily lead to a slippery slope, where the purpose of kindness shifts from helping others to impressing others. Bragging about our good actions can diminish the sincerity of the act and lead people to question our true intentions. More than that, speaking about every good thing we do can create an image of superiority or self-righteousness, which can sometimes drive people away. True kindness, on the other hand, has an undeniable purity when done quietly. People who make a positive impact without seeking attention often have a lasting effect on those they help and inspire. They're remembered not for what they said, but for the quiet, selfless way in which they lifted others up. Moreover, keeping our good deeds private protects the dignity of those we help. Many acts of kindness are done for people who are vulnerable or going through difficult times, and drawing attention to these moments can be embarrassing or uncomfortable for them. Discretion shows respect for others' privacy and needs, allowing them to receive help with dignity intact. When we choose to keep our good deeds quiet, we create a sense of trust and respect, letting others feel valued rather than spotlighted. This silent approach to kindness builds a deeper connection and understanding between people, fostering genuine compassion that transcends any need for validation. There's also a personal reward in keeping quiet about our good actions. Over time, we grow internally, developing humility and selflessness. When we stop looking for external validation, we start to cultivate an inner sense of worth, knowing that we have helped simply because it was the right thing to do. This quiet confidence is worth more than any public acknowledgement and builds character over time. In the end, it's often the people who go unnoticed, the ones helping without a hint of applause, who leave the strongest impact. True kindness is invisible yet deeply felt, so let your actions speak for themselves. You don't need to shout about your good deeds. Instead, Let their impact echo quietly. In a world that constantly urges us to share, choose the path of silent kindness. Let your good deeds ripple outward, inspiring others not because of what they see, but because of the unseen kindness they feel in your presence. Number 7. Don't talk about your future plans. When we talk too much about our future plans, we often risk a surprising setback, losing the drive and focus needed to accomplish them. There's a psychological phenomenon behind this called the intention-action gap, which explains why talking about goals can sometimes diminish our motivation to pursue them. When we share our plans with others, we often experience a premature sense of satisfaction or accomplishment. Our brains reward us with a little dopamine boost for the positive reactions we receive, whether it's a congratulatory remark or a simple acknowledgement of our ambition. Ironically, this boost can trick us into feeling that we're closer to the finish line than we actually are. It's like getting applause for starting the race before even taking the first step. The energy we would have used to pursue our goals gets somewhat depleted by sharing them prematurely. Another reason to keep plans to yourself is the way people's reactions can unconsciously influence our decisions. Feedback, especially unsolicited, can introduce doubt, distract us, or even alter the original vision we had. Often people feel they're being helpful by offering advice or their opinions, but not everyone can understand the full scope of what we're trying to achieve, or why. When others question or judge our plans, they might unintentionally instill hesitation, causing us to lose focus. Moreover, well-meaning encouragement can sometimes nudge us to make adjustments we didn't originally intend. Our goals should be authentic reflections of our personal values, not adaptations based on others' preferences or expectations. By keeping our future plans to ourselves, we can preserve the purity of our vision and allow it to unfold without interference. There's also the powerful benefit of moving in silence. When you quietly work on your plans without broadcasting them, you avoid unnecessary pressure. If something goes wrong, it's easier to adapt, pivot, or even change direction entirely without feeling judged by a crowd that's been following your progress. This freedom to adjust, unhindered by outside opinions or expectations, is invaluable when pursuing any ambitious goal. When we keep things private, we eliminate the need to meet deadlines or benchmarks that others have come to expect, which can relieve stress and help us work more effectively. Finally, holding back on sharing future plans allows for an element of surprise, which is often more rewarding. When we announce a new achievement or unveil a completed project, it often garners greater admiration and respect because people see only the result, not the trial and error that went into it. There's a mystery in not revealing every step that creates a greater impact when we finally share what we've been working on. In the end, working quietly keeps us accountable to ourselves, builds inner discipline, and strengthens our determination. So, the next time you have a dream or goal in mind, consider nurturing it in silence and letting the results speak for themselves. Number 8. Don't speak of your weaknesses. In a world where self-improvement and vulnerability are often encouraged, it's easy to believe that openly discussing our weaknesses is a sign of strength. And while self-reflection is crucial for growth, there's wisdom in being cautious about how much of our weaknesses we share and with whom. Life is filled with complexities, and our struggles are deeply personal, shaping who we are and how we face challenges. Sharing every doubt, fear, or shortcoming can lead to a diluted sense of our true strengths, not only in the eyes of others, but also within ourselves. By constantly speaking of our weaknesses, we risk framing ourselves through a lens of limitation rather than capability. Dwelling on flaws, even in casual conversation, can seep into our self-identity, fostering a mindset that holds us back. It's not about ignoring imperfections, but about choosing a path that acknowledges them privately while embracing our strengths publicly. When we talk only about our struggles, we unconsciously give them power, allowing them to define us in ways they shouldn't. Every one of us has limitations. It's how we approach and handle them that makes the difference. It's crucial to recognize and work on our weaknesses internally, learning from them without broadcasting them. This doesn't mean we pretend to be flawless. It means we are selective, discerning in what we reveal to the world. Just as a skilled performer doesn't point out a slip on stage, we should allow others to see the best version of ourselves, the one built on resilience and self-assuredness. Often those we speak to, whether in personal or professional settings, will naturally look to us for strengths they admire. By continuously broadcasting our weaknesses, we might unknowingly shift their perception, casting a shadow on the unique abilities we bring. There's a quiet strength in handling our battles internally, letting our actions reflect our growth rather than words that may unintentionally undermine us. Instead of defining ourselves by what we cannot do, we should focus on what we excel in, on the talents, skills, and qualities that make us valuable. Choose to let others see the confident version of you, the one that believes in possibility over limitation. When we do need to share, let it be with those who support our growth, who understand the complexity of being human without reducing us to our weaknesses. Speak from a place of self-awareness and selective vulnerability, always aiming to uplift yourself and those around you. Our words have immense power, shaping how we're perceived and how we perceive ourselves. By choosing wisely what to share, we hold on to that power, letting it strengthen us rather than hold us back. So remember, don't dwell on your weaknesses aloud. Nurture them in silence. Let your strengths be your voice, and show the world the best, most resilient version of who you are. Number 9, don't talk about your deepest dream. Sometimes, the most personal and cherished dreams are the ones we keep closest to our hearts, the ones that are so fragile, so tender, that sharing them with others feels like exposing a part of ourselves that we are not ready to face or share. There's an old saying that advises against talking about your deepest dreams, suggesting that doing so might bring more harm than good. But why? Why should we hold back our aspirations and desires from the world, especially when we long for validation and connection? The truth is, not every dream is meant for public consumption. Some dreams are delicate. They grow best in the quiet spaces of our minds, nurtured by our thoughts and emotions. These dreams are often shaped by our most vulnerable desires, reflecting our core values, fears, and hopes. When we speak them aloud too soon, they can become susceptible to criticism, ridicule, or the well-meaning but dismissive remarks of others. What begins as a cherished thought could quickly turn into a source of doubt and uncertainty, leading to the premature abandonment of something that might have had the potential to flourish. There's a vulnerability in sharing your deepest dreams that cannot be underestimated. It exposes not only the dream itself, but also your innermost sense of self. When we tell others about our dreams, especially those that are ambitious or unconventional, we invite judgment, sometimes without even realizing it. People may not always understand the depth of our passion or the reasons behind our desires. They might impose their own limitations onto our dreams, advising caution or practicality instead of encouragement. As a result, we may begin to question ourselves, feeling the weight of others' expectations rather than holding fast to our original vision. Furthermore, there's something sacred in keeping a dream to yourself. It allows you to remain fully in control of it without external interference. Dreams are not just about the destination. They are about the journey of growth, struggle, and personal development. When you keep your dreams close, you preserve the purity of that process. It's a space where failure doesn't feel like a defeat, but a stepping stone, where success doesn't need validation from others, but is defined by your own standards. In many ways, not talking about your deepest dreams allows you to retain the power of mystery. By keeping your vision to yourself, you protect it from the critical eyes of those who may not share your perspective or understand the intricacies of your path. It's in silence that the dream finds its roots, solidifying its place in your heart without the need for external affirmation. There's beauty in letting a dream grow quietly in the background of your life, while the world remains unaware of the brilliance it might one day bring. So, next time you find yourself on the verge of sharing your most intimate dream, pause and ask yourself, is this something that needs validation now? Or is this something I need to nurture in silence until it's ready to bloom? Sometimes the most powerful dreams are the ones we keep to ourselves, allowing them to unfold in their own time and in their own way. Number 10. Don't talk about your moments of solitude. In a world increasingly defined by constant connectivity and social media, the concept of solitude often holds a mysterious and somewhat sacred place. Yet, it is becoming more common for people to share every intimate moment of their lives, including their moments of solitude, online. The allure of vulnerability is strong, and social media platforms have become a stage where even the quietest of moments are broadcasted to the world. However, there is an argument to be made against this inclination to talk about solitude. Solitude, by nature, is a deeply personal and transformative experience that requires no audience to validate its importance. It is a space for introspection, for discovering one's thoughts and emotions without the interference of others. When we begin to speak openly about these private moments, we risk contaminating their pure essence. Firstly, solitude is often a form of self-care, a necessary respite from the demands of others and the chaos of daily life. It allows us to reconnect with our inner selves, to process our thoughts, to breathe, and to reflect on who we are and who we want to become. When we start discussing these moments too freely, we unintentionally invite external opinions into a space that should be reserved for personal growth. While sharing such moments can be tempting, especially if we seek affirmation, it can dilute the raw, transformative power that solitude offers. Instead of fully embracing the quiet, we might end up seeking validation, which takes away from the authenticity of the experience. Moreover, the beauty of solitude lies in its ability to restore balance without any need for external acknowledgement. When we talk about it, we may inadvertently make it something to be observed and judged, rather than something to be lived. The process of self-discovery often involves navigating difficult thoughts and emotions that are best explored in silence and privacy. The more we talk about these moments, the more we risk turning them into performative acts rather than genuine experiences. In a sense, speaking about solitude can sometimes be a way of outsourcing what should be an inward journey to the public sphere. Solitude also allows us to be fully present in the moment, without the constant distraction of outside influences. This undisturbed time is essential for our mental and emotional well-being, allowing us to reconnect with what truly matters to us, free from the pressures of society. When we talk about these solitary moments, we risk transforming them into a spectacle for others to consume, eroding their power to nourish and restore us. There's something sacred about these pauses in our lives, something private that doesn't need to be shared to be validated. In conclusion, moments of solitude should be cherished as personal experiences, unencumbered by the need for external validation or recognition. Talking about these moments too freely can shift their purpose from a transformative space of reflection to a performance for an audience. It's important to understand that the true value of solitude is found not in what we share about it, but in the quiet moments themselves, in the self-reflection they inspire, and in the peace they bring us when we embrace them in their purest form. So, there you have it. 10 topics to avoid if you want to maintain a Stoic mindset and live a more peaceful, focused life. By steering clear of gossip, unnecessary conflicts, and emotional triggers, you can better control your responses and stay aligned with your values. Remember, Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and let go of what we cannot. When we choose our conversations wisely, we cultivate inner peace and resilience, just like the Stoics. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with others who might benefit from these timeless principles. Stay calm, stay focused, and be like a Stoic.